Good afternoon, all. So, uh, the event manager already delivered an introduction about me. So, we are here to speak about research methodologies and all. So, my session I have organized actually into two independent sessions. And the first one session we will be covering the basics of research, that is, how to do the research, how to select a research topic, etc., etc. And the second session we will be discussing how to write a research paper. So, hello. Am I audible now?
Ma'am, you are audible, ma'am. You can start the session. Screen is also visible.
Sorry, ma'am. Hello.
Hello? Ma'am, am I audible? You are audible, ma'am.
Okay, I lost my connectivity. So,
Okay,
let me
your
start.
screen is also visible, ma'am.
Okay. Let me start. So, research is a subconscious activity that is occurring in every human minds. So, if you are planning for purchasing of any daily use article, a car, or even if you are planning to buy a new mobile phone, so the very first thing we will be doing is doing a research over these things. So, it is a subconscious activity that we are involved in all times. And why research? So, research is actually helpful in the critical assessment of the way we work, we are executing the policies, and give instructions in our professions. So, it is actually an activity that will lead us to find new facts, information, assisting us in verifying the available knowledge, and in making us question things that are difficult to understand with the existing available data. So, in a simple sentence, research is a continuous activity or a process that can be used to discover new knowledge to find answers to existing questions. So, next is why the term research for education or the application of research in education. So, so research in the field of education is actually very crucial. So the very first thing is it will help us to find the best practices and even guides us for curriculum development, etc. And by studying what works and what does not, educators and policymakers can make evidence-based decisions to improve the educational outcomes for students itself. And basically, the fundamental purpose of academic research is to prove the theories and the development of knowledge. So, almost all the researchers in the field of academic research will be working upon existing theories and will be developing further knowledge from the existing theories itself. And one of the best tools for enhancing knowledge and to facilitate learning is every time research-oriented learning itself. And for academic research, if the academic research is conducted by students, it is not just important for students only, it is also important for the faculties as well as the general public itself. Okay. The knowledge the students acquired from their research can be used for social activities as well. Okay. And the quality of research that the faculties and students conducting has a direct impact on the quality of teaching and learning in the classrooms. Okay, and this will be benefiting students, society, and our country as a whole. So, academic research not only always often highlights the issues that are prevalent in the society, and these issues can be the cultural issues, health, education. In every domain, the students can do certain research and bring up some important updates or knowledge from all the domains. And if the psychological research, if a student is doing a psychological research or studies on mental health, and it may lead to new findings and cure some ongoing mental disorders. And in the field of business, if a student is conducting research in the field of business, and the research plays a crucial role. For example, market research. So, market research can help many organizations to see the ongoing trends and work accordingly. Different business industries such as healthcare, agriculture, pharmaceuticals, construction, robotics, anything have inbuilt research and development centers in order to bring product innovation and improve the products. And all these industries, what they are doing is they first do a market analysis and understand the demands of the society. So based on this research only, they manufacture the products as per the demands. So in every domains, research have their own importance. Okay, and the quality of research work in academia has a direct impact on the quality of teaching and learning in the classroom, which benefits the students, society, and the country as a whole. So this is the importance of research in the field of education. So, and we have a general idea of, I already you have attended one session, so I think you have a general idea of what research is, types of research and all. So, once you are into research, the very first question you have is how to find a research topic. So, which area you should choose, and what should be the domain you are working upon, and how to find a suitable research topic that aligns with your personal interest and all. This is the first main task you are going to face. That is how to identify the research topic. And this is the fundamental step in research itself, identifying the research area. So, selecting a research topic is actually the fundamental step in the research process. So, the research topic determines the questions you are going to ask, the methods you use, and the population you study. So, a well defined topic itself is sufficient for a coherent research design that aligns with the objectives of the study. So, identifying a strong topic for research paper is the first step in laying the groundwork for your study. So, to establish such a topic, it's important to consider some elements. So, the research topic you are going to choose should align with your personal interest. This is very important, and it should have some societal relevance. Your area of interest should definitely have some social relevance, then feasibility and potential for a theoretical development. So, coming to this alignment with the personal interest means we know that research is not a short process. is a lengthy process, and if you are choosing a topic that you are already passionate about, can help maintain motivation and enthusiasm throughout your study. So you can successfully complete your research if the research area is successfully aligning with your personal interest. And coming to the social relevance, the social relevance refers to the topic you have selected impact on the society and connection to the larger societal issues or academic discourse. Okay, and if a topic you are choosing is addressing or informing current social debates, policies, or practices, then it can significantly enhance the importance of your findings if it is directly associated with some of the current social debates. Okay, and this not only broadens the appeal and applicability of your research, but also increases the likelihood of it being funded or published somewhere else. So, if the topic is so much socially relevant, you can easily publish it, and you can also easily grab some funding for your research work as well. As there are so many funding agencies that are providing funds for the research. So, if you are selecting that socially relevant projects, you can get funds easily. And to judge the social relevance, you can review recent publication, attend some conferences, and engage in the discussion with your researchers, colleagues, etc. And you can gain some valuable insight into what is currently considered pressing in your field. Okay, and feasibility. So feasibility is about the practical aspects of conducting our research. So before starting the research, and once you have finalized the research domain and starting the research, you should mustly check for the availability of the resources needed for the research, such as time, funding, and if you need any data for your research, then you have to check whether that data is available and who are the participants in your research. So this is the study related to feasibility. So a feasible research topic means it is a one that can be realistically investigated within the constraints of your circumstances, and it requires a clear understanding of what is required to conduct the study and whether those requirements can be met. So this might involve preliminary search to access data availability or consultations with the potential supervisors or colleagues to evaluate the support structure available. And finally, last but not the least, the very important is the potential for theoretical development. So, once you have done a preliminary research about the topic, you should determine the usefulness of the research topic in the society. So, as research publication, it tends to favor research that reports on novel insights or theoretical innovations. The main aim is to choose a research topic that can benefit from further research inquiry. So, the topic you choose must have some theoretical background, and you should be able to uh, provide much information theoretically about a topic. That is the main thing you have to do while selecting a research topic. So if you when while searching for a research topic, the research topic should be aligning with your personal interest, and it should have societal relevance, and it should be feasible, and it should have the potential for theoretical development. Okay. So once you have selected a research topic, you need to narrow down your research. So once you have a research topic selecting means you will be choosing a broad area for your research. So if you are from computer science background, there are various technologies now: artificial intelligence, machine learning, cryptography, blockchain, deep learning, etc. So many areas are there. So identifying a research topic means you will be choosing only a particular domain for your research. So once you have landed on this particular domain, the next is you have to narrow down your research into a single problem statement which you are going to working on. So to identify that particular problem statement, um, you have to make a preliminary study on the state of the art. That is currently what research is ongoing in this particular area, and which are the narrow domains within this particular area. So for that purpose, we will be conducting a literature review. And to find a base paper for the research, we need a literature survey. And in the next slide, we will be discussing how we can find the recent publications from your area of interest. So, actually, literature review is simply a summary of the published works in the area of study. So, if you are fixed upon a particular area of study or a particular domain, the next step is you have to find some literatures and generate a summary of these literatures, these available literatures. So, actually, the first step is we will be searching broadly for all the available literatures in our area, and literatures for our review will be typically be acquired through existing scholarly books, journal articles, or someone else's thesis or dissertations. Okay, develop and the next step is once we have find certain articles, we will be developing an understanding of what is out there, what terms are accurate, and what will be helpful for our research. Okay. The key to our literature review is a critical analysis of all the literatures we have collected for our topic. So the analysis will explore relationships, the major themes, and any critical gaps in the research that is expressed in all these collected work. So we will be reading each of the literature collected, and we will be summarizing each source. Okay, and it should be summarized in such a way that we will be analyzing the authority of the paper, what methodologies are used in the paper, and in between, we also should have an eye on the relationship between all the papers we have collected. So the first thing is you have to collect some 50 to 100 papers in your area of interest from various reputed journals. You can either visit the standard databases, or almost all the standard databases have open access facility, and so you can collect the literatures, and once you have collected the literatures, you can start reading one by one. So you should summarize the key takeaways of each paper, and you should also look for the relationship between the papers you have collected so far. So once you have summarized these literatures, we can divide the available resources into different categories, reflecting their roles in addressing our research question. So we can arrange the paper in the chronological order, and we can arrange the paper either by the theme of the paper, the methodology used, or the theoretical approaches used in all these papers. Okay. And regardless of the division, this each category can be accompanied by thorough discussions and explanation of strength and weakness, etc. So, while simply analyzing the methodology, theme, theoretical aspects of the papers, you should also have a quick analysis of what are the advantages and disadvantages of the methodologies that are discussed in each paper, and this will help you to refine your problem statement very well. Okay, and uh, in order to uh, uh, ensure that you have enough resources, you should use multiple databases and other resources also to get a variety of perspectives on the research topic. So there are already multiple standard databases available for every research area, and you can use the standard databases, and in addition you can use some website data, other repositories, then books, etc., articles, or anything you can use, and even you can discuss in your peer group, etc., and you can form a summary of your entire literature collection, and this will be laying as the foundation for your research work. And based on the study you have conducted, you can frame a strong problem statement. So you have referred around 100 or 50 to 100 papers, and you have generated a summary of all the 50 100 papers you have read, and based on this summary, you have identified the weakness and strength of all methods. And from the weakness you have identified, you can form a problem statement. And this problem statement is the statement which you are going to work upon. And this is the foundation for your research. So once you have framed the problem statement, the next step is how to do the research. So how you can research on the problem statement and how to find the solution. Okay. For conducting the research, actually, there are three different approaches for research. This is qualitative research, quantitative research, and the mixed methods. So the qualitative research is the most flexible and adaptable method of research. And this qualitative research are usually applicable only for the field like sociology, psychology, anthropology. Such general areas can be used for qualitative research. And in this method, we are actually using surveys, questionnaires, etc. for data collection. And it's based on people's opinions and perceptions and is good for understanding the motivations and meanings behind human actions. And coming to quantitative research, this method is based on actually collecting, testing, and measuring some numerical data, usually from a large sample of participants, etc. And it's good for confirming something, and the data is analyzed using statistical methods and comparisons. So both have difference, and for technology-related research and all, we will be using quantitative research more. And for this data collection, we will be having already available public data sets and all. So for qualitative research, it is up to the research. So based on the research area or your problem statement, you will be conducting surveys, questionnaires, and this survey questions and interview questions or questionnaire questions will be varying from research to research. And for quantitative research, there will be standard data set for almost all type of problems. You can use that standard data sets. And mixed methods means in certain methods, both quantitative and qualitative research together we will be using, and it allows for verification of data from two or more sources. So there are certain research areas in which both qualitative and quantitative research we are parallelly using. The next thing is data collection and analysis techniques. Okay, how to collect the data and how to analyze useful information from this. So how to collect data from various sources and how to analyze the data for your research. Okay. So data collection methods means it is the techniques and the procedures that can be used for gathering information for the research purpose, and they can be either simple self-reported surveys or more complex quantitative or qualitative experiments. So some common data collection methods include survey, interview, observation, and experiments, etc. And there are certain secondary data analysis techniques also. So anyway, the data collected through these primary methods or secondary methods. Primary methods means direct interaction with the people, like surveys, interviews, observations, etc. And secondary data analysis means using already existing data. So either the data collected through that primary or secondary can be analyzed to support or refute research hypothesis and draw conclusions about the study's subject matter. So the data collection methods, actually, there are various techniques and tools for gathering both quantitative and qualitative data. So, quantitative data collection methods are usually for numerical data, survey, polls, statistical analysis, and to quantify that existing phenomena, trends, etc. For these purposes, we will be using quantitative data. So, if we want to analyze the market sales in a particular market. So we create the numerical data from that market in real-time data itself. So this is an example for primary data. Okay, conversely, qualitative data collection methods, they actually focus on capturing non-numerical information such as interviews, focus groups, observations, etc. And these type of methods actually they help us to delve deeper into understanding the attitudes, behaviors, motivations of the people. Okay. And the surveys, questionnaire, etc. are the main methods used in these primary methods. Okay, survey. What surveys do? Surveys actually they collect data from the target audience and gather insights into their preferences, opinions, etc. And also the feedback related to product and services. So usually these electronic gadget companies and all, once they release a new electronic gadget, what will be they are doing, they will be collecting the feedback and review from all their customers, and based on the analysis of these reviews and feedback only, they are planning for the upgradation of the existing gadget or planning for a new version of the existing gadget and all. So most survey software usually offers a wide range of question types satisfying every customer need. Okay. And questionnaire method, actually a set of questions will be mailed or given to a respondent, and the respondent should read, reply and subsequently return the questionnaire. And these questions are printed in the definite order in a form, and these responses from the respondent will be analyzed to understand the taste of the customer and all. Okay. And coming to secondary data, secondary data means the data that has been used in the past or collected from some source. The data is already existing and we are simply collecting the data from any source. So the researchers can actually obtain data from the data sources, both internal and external to the organizational data. So the secondary data, actually it includes data sets that are available in public platforms, government data, in magazines, newspaper, books, journals, etc. We can collect the secondary data, and it may be either published data or unpublished data. So published data will be usually available in government publications, public reports, historical and other statistical documents that are already existing. And for business purpose, there will be business documents, and technical and trade journals will be available for business related data. Okay. And anyway, while choosing the data, you should ensure that the data is reliable, and you should have much quantity of data for supporting your research, and it should be in standard format and all. There should not be any missing values, redundant values, and errors in the data. So if the data you have collected is erroneous, your research will not go in the track you expect. So a good data set is the fundamental thing that supports your research. So collecting data is the very critical step, and if you have not collected the relevant data for your research, you may need to drop your research in the halfway. So before sticking on a particular research area, please ensure that you have the data set or you have the source of data that supports your research. So this is a critical step, data collection. And also you have to ensure that you are using proper techniques that aligns with your research to analyze the data. So if you are using statistical methods, you should choose the relevant statistical method that is aligning with your research for the analysis of data. And you should also analyze the data in all the possible ways using all the efficient methods. So every methods can be used for analysis of data if they are directly related with the data, but the method should be chosen in such a way that we will be getting the most efficient result with the limited amount of time and calculation and all. So you have to ensure you have proper data with you, and you have proper techniques for analyzing the data. So once you have the data and you have fixed the research methodology you are going to opt, then you have to choose the methods. What are the methods you are going to applying on the data? So this actually depends on your area of research. So if you are doing some research like economics and anything like that projects, so you have your own methods that are directly depending on your area of research. So next thing is, once you have done the literature review, then you will be framing the problem statement. Once you have a strong problem statement, you will be start working on the problem statement. Then you will find the data set needed for the research. Then you will choose the appropriate methodologies that are required for working upon the data. Once the methodologies are fixed, you will be applying the methods on the data, then you will get the result. And if your methodology is improving the existing system, then it can be published somewhere. So to publish your result somewhere, you need to know how to write your findings in a neat and legible manner, and how to write a research paper that includes your work. That is the main step in research. Once you have completed the research, you need to publish your research paper. So before publishing the research paper, you should have a strong research paper with you. So how to write a research paper? This is the main important thing. Writing and organizing a research paper. So mainly, any typical research paper, if you are downloading from any of the databases, journals, any standard journal, or even a conference paper, any typical research paper is mainly structured into five main sections: the introduction, the literature review, then the methodology, methodology, then the result and the findings, and the conclusion. These are the main five portions. So the introduction means which introduces the topic or which introduces the area of your research. Then the literature's review means it provides the background and context of your research. The methodology describes details about how the research was conducted, which all methods were used or which all tools and techniques were used for the research. And the result or findings will be presenting the data collected. And finally, the conclusion. And the conclusion part will be summarizing the study and its implications. Okay. And the first part is introduction. So the main important portion of your paper will be the introduction. So it's what will capture the reader's attention. This is the point where a reader's attention is captured. Set the tone for your paper, and you have to tell the reader what to expect from your research paper. Don't what to say, don't say too much about the broader area, or don't say too much about your research in the introduction. It should be some generalized way. It should have the general objectives, aim of your research, as well as a small introduction of your work as well as your area of interest. That's what introduction to should contain. So it's what so to capture the reader's attention, simply tell the reader what to expect from your paper. So to write an engaging introduction, you can start with a hook, a fact, a question or statement, or your problem statement itself presented in an interesting manner. So it should introduce the topic of the paper, then smoothly transition to your thesis statement, providing a snapshot of your result itself. Okay. Then you can also briefly outline the structure of your paper, guiding the reader through the arguments you plan to explore in the introduction itself. You can also add a general scheme of the paper in this introduction itself. Okay. Once the reader goes through the introduction part, they should get a clear idea of what is your central argument, what is the outline of the problem statement you will be putting forward, and a nice introduction. Okay. Once you have done with the introduction, the next stage is you should have a summary of the literature survey you have done. So, and while writing the literature survey, you should ensure that you have used proper citations in the literature survey. You should use proper citation methods, and you should only provide a brief summary about each literature. Okay. And this literature survey actually it depends on your subject, and this could involve reading academic journal, book, reputable websites, conducting data collection or lab work, or a combination of anything you can include in the literature survey. But anything you are using in the literature survey, you should do proper citation. Okay. And while writing the research paper, you must ensure that you should work only on one section of your paper at a time. Okay. Organize the body paragraphs within each section by creating a logical flow of ideas. And while starting each paragraph, you should start with a clear topic sentence. And anything related to formatting, you should be strictly following the guidelines of the template you are following. Okay. So once you are done with the literature review part, then the next step is methodology. So in this, you can include architectural diagrams if you have any. Then if you can generate flow charts, and you can even uh, simply include the questionnaire, surveys, anything you are used for research. So the methodology actually it can be splitted like data set using, then the techniques used, and the experimentation part also. This mainly depends on your research. If you are doing some qualitative research like primary data collection and all, then you can include data collection, then the techniques you are used to analyze the data, and next part you can include that survey or questionnaire form, etc., in the methodology section itself. So for technical research paper, if you are doing some technical works, then you can use data sets, the algorithms or methods or experimentation techniques you are used, then how to implement the experiment in the lab or in the system, how you are implementing this particular system though. So you can add a very detailed explanation in the experimentation portion. and all. This depends, actually this methodology part, it will be depending close, it will be closely aligned with your research area. Okay. Then once you have done the methodology part, the next step is the result section. So here you can include the result you have obtained from your work, and this you can include supporting evidence such as statistics, any statistical values or analysis portion you have, all that you can include in this particular section. Okay. And the next part is conclusion. So, knowing how to write a conclusion for a research paper will leave the reader with a clear understanding of your paper's importance and a lasting impression of your work. And the conclusion, what it is doing is it actually summarizes the main points of your paper and restate the thesis statement and reinforcing the argument you have presented. And it's your final opportunity to make an impact on the reader. Okay. And once you have prepared the paper with these introduction, literature survey, methodology, and the conclusion, the next step is you can include acknowledgement, future work, in etc. And the last is reference section. So for acknowledgement, you can acknowledge all the supporting people for your research, if any funding you have received, and if any of the colleagues supported you for your work, and if you are a PhD scholar, you can include your guide, HODs, etc. in the acknowledgement portion. Whoever have supported or contributed to your work, you can acknowledge them in the acknowledgement section. And future work, if you are planning to extend your work uh, further, then you can briefly describe about the future work plan you have, that is in the future work. And for references, you can use either the APA style or other style template to include the reference. There are certain templates available for adding reference to your paper. You should strictly follow the reference format that will be followed by the journal you are intending to submit. Okay. So once you have drafted the content, the next is before submitting your work, it's important to understand how to write references of a research paper. You should cite the work, cite any you if you are using any other content, any other materials, journal contents, or anything in your paper, you have to cite all that works, and it should also plagiarism free. So if you are copying someone else's content as if it will be a serious academic offense. So don't go for that. You should not copy someone else's work into your paper as that. So you can use the ideas you mentioned in someone else's paper, but don't copy that exactly as there. So once you have drafted your paper, then the next thing is you have to check for the formatting. So it should be adhering to the specific formatting guidelines provided by the academic institution or the journal you are submitting is essential. And the key elements of formatting actually includes choosing an appropriate font style size, ensuring the margins are uniform, using headings and subheadings to structure your content effectively, adding page numbers, etc. So once you have drafted the paper, before submission, you have to ensure the following things. So we have to review our paper as a whole, make sure that the contents are flowing logically from introduction to conclusion, and check that the problem statement is clearly articulated and supported throughout. Confirm that all the sources are accurately cited and our bibliography is formatted correctly, and double check for any grammatical or spelling errors. And finally, you should also verify that the paper meet all the specified requirements, including word count, formatting, etc. So if you are conducting a thorough final review, it can make all the difference, ensuring your research paper is polished and ready for submission. And also, if another point is the length of the research paper. The length of the research paper will actually vary depending on the guidelines from your instructor or the academic journal you are submitting to. Generally, a research paper can range from a 6 to 20 number of pages, not including any references and appendices. You can use a minimum of 6 papers to a maximum of 20 pages. Okay. Then once you have drafted the research paper, the next step is to submit your research paper to a suitable journal. Okay. So before submitting a paper to a suitable journal, the first thing is you have to find the uh, reputed journals that are aligning with your research areas. So what are the good journals available in your research area? You can use the existing databases to check for the journals. So once you have find some of the journals, the first step you have to do is you have to read the journals aims and scope to make sure that they match your paper. Okay. You have to check whether the journal is matching with your research area. Their scope and aim is matching with our paper. Then check whether we can submit. Some journals are accepting papers only through their invitation only. So we check whether you can submit your paper and use the use the journal metrics to measure its impact. We can check the speed and reach to understand if it's the right one for you, the article processing time, the reviewing time, everything you have to look before submitting the paper. So the main thing is read the aim and scope and other guidelines of the target journal carefully. Once you think your manuscript is ready for submission, the important step is to read the aim and scope of the journals in your target research area. Okay, and doing so will improve the chances of having your manuscript accepted for publishing. So before submitting your manuscript in any journal, you should also prepare a cover letter for your uh, article. Okay. Because you can never understand, you should never underestimate the importance of a cover letter addressed to the editor or editor in chief of the target journal. A good cover letter should underline three main aspects of the paper, the main theme of the paper, and what is the originality or novelty of your paper, and what is the relevance of our paper to the target journal you are going to publish. Okay, with these three main factors, you have to prepare a cover letter and you should surely submit the cover letter with your manuscript. Okay. And you should also make a good first impression with your title and abstract. Okay, the title and abstract are incredibly important components of the manuscript, and because it is the first element a journal editor will be seeing. So frame the title such that it should be catching and it should have a overall idea of what your research paper is about and all. So they will be creating interest and curiosity about the whole work. And once you have done all these things, then go to the journal home page to start the process. And only you can submit only one article at a time to any journal. Okay, you should not go for duplicate submissions. Some people will be doing like that. If they have a particular research paper, they will be submitting the same research paper in two or three journals at the same time. Never do that, because if more than one journal will be accept your paper, that all the journals will be retracting your paper, because we do not have the right to publish a same paper which we have published in one journal within other journals. So don't publish simultaneously in two or more in one more than one journal a particular work. You can publish with a slightly modifying or with updated version of your work, but not try to publish the same paper in different journals. Okay. Once if it came to the notice of the journal, they will be retracting your paper. Okay. So once you have submitted the article to the journal editor will be reading your article and decide if it's ready for peer review. And most of the articles will be reviewed by two or more experts in the field, and they may contact you with questions at this point. And once you have sufficient answers, and once the paper is ready, the final decision will be sent from the editor part. If the article is accepted, we will be need to signing a publishing agreement with the journal. And if the article is rejected, you can get help finding another journal. And some papers may be accepted with a major or minor revision. If the editor finds your paper good for their journal, but with some slight revisions, they will be accepting your papers conditionally with minor or major revision in your work. Okay. And once the paper is accepted, The next stage is payment. So if the article is open access, you will be need to pay a particular amount for the publication. And this fees for this open access actually differs across channels. Okay, this is how you can find a journal and you submit your journal, submit your paper into a journal. Then how to find the journals? Okay, how to find the available journals. This is a main task. How to find a journal. Already we discussed about the paper publishing process. So we have to find the right journal, right, which will be aligning with your manuscript and all. So when you're ready to submit your manuscript for publication, we can use the following methods or tools to find journals that fit the scope of our research. So you can use journal matching tools, then the library databases, or even open access journals. Three methods you can use to find the journals. The first one is uh, journal matching tools, then the library databases or open access. So journal matching tools is actually they will be allowing us to quickly locate journals that will match the topic of our research. There are mainly all the standard databases like Elsevier, Springer, etc. have their own journal finders. So what we have to do is we have to simply insert your title, keywords, or abstract of your paper into the specified areas of journal finder. Then the database itself list out the suitable journals for your research. Okay. I have already attached a screenshot for a journal finder. This is the journal finder for Springer Nature. So in this journal finder, you can simply paste the title of your work, then some of the abstract or introduction part of your research work you can paste in the manuscript text area. Then the subject area you can choose from this drop down menu. Then while pressing the suggest journal button, you will be getting a list of journals in the Springer Nature database which are suitable for publication for your work. So this will be easy if you are beginner in research, because if they are suggesting the journals, it will be closely aligning to your work, and the aim and scope of the journal will be very much matching to your work. So the chances of acceptance of your work in their journals will be more. Always use these kind of tools to find the journals for your paper. So this is this is the tool for finding the right journal for the paper. Okay. And the next method is the library databases. Okay, we can also find relevant journals by searching the literature databases. Search for your topic to find similar articles and see which journals published those articles. Some of the common literature databases are PubMed, Web of Science, then Scopus, etc. Okay, and PubMed means it is actually PubMed is a more than 13 million citations for all the biomedical literatures. PubMed is actually associated with the biomedical literatures, life science journals, and online books are included in PubMed. And citations may also include links to full text content from PubMed Central and publisher websites. And it is also mobile friendly. The next one is Web of Science. Web of Science is actually citations and abstracts from scholarly literatures in the sciences, social sciences, arts, and humanities. And cited reference searching allows us to track prior research, use the whole database drop. There is an option called all database drop down in this Web of Science. If you look in internet, you can see the journal finder of Web of Science. There in that you can find an all database drop down, and in there is a biosis preview, biosis citation index, medline. There are so many options. You can find the journals from there based on the citation, based on the impacts for based on the H index and all. You can find the better journals that aligns with your research area. And the next one is Scopus, and it is a comprehensive index of journals, dissertations, books, conference proceedings, standards of practice, software, and audio visual material for health topics, and it is also mobile friendly. So I think Pratik Hadal, you have some question. So can you please type here? Your voice is not audible for me. So if you have any query, please type in the chat box, please. Hello, sir. So in addition to this, you have some open access journal also. For finding the open access journals, you have actually a directory of open access journal. So you can use the directory of open access journals to search for open access journals by subject, identify which journals charge author processing fees, etc. Okay. So now you can have a quick 5 to 6 minutes of break, and after the break, we will be discussing about how to write the research paper in detail, and I will be showing some sample research papers which are drafted by me myself.
You're not audible at all.
Ma'am, actually, I'm not speaking. I have provided a 5 to 6 minutes break for you.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Now we are going into the second part of our session. So in this session, I will be giving a detailed overview of how you can write your research paper. Okay, once you have completed your work, you can draft the content for your research work, content for the research paper. So initially, what you can do is all the journals, conferences, etc., have their own templates for the research paper. So, while preparing the research paper, you can simply draft the content for the main headings. Okay, simply draft the contents as per the main standard format of research paper. Like you should have a title, then other details, then abstract, introduction, literature review, methodology, and result, conclusion. So you should frame content for all these main headings. Then follow the format of the available journals that are aligning with your area of interest, or if you are intending to publish your work in any conference, then you can ask for the conference chair for the format or template, if any. For almost all the standard publishing team have their own templates. Okay, so this is actually a work which I have done during my postgraduate study, and this is included in IEEE Explore. So IEEE Explore means uh, it is a website managed by IEEE, and where there they have all the transactions, journals, conferences, research papers published in IEEE. Okay, if we are presenting our work in any of the IEEE conferences, they will directly include all the papers presented in that conference in the IEEE Explore database. So this paper you can also search in the Google, then you can find this particular paper in IEEE Explore. Okay. So this is a work which I have done during my postgraduate study, and this is something related to artificial intelligence. And the first thing I have done during my thesis selection was I have searched for my area of interest. So during that time, there are mainly AI, machine learning, deep learning, such technologies were trending during that time in computer science. So you have to check which area is now trending in your research domain. So once you have identified that particular area, you have to narrow down your research into the sub areas of each of these domain. Okay. Then once you have find that narrow domain, you can start working on your literature. So you can have a quick literature search over the web in Google Scholar, any of the databases or databases. Then if you have previous knowledge about any journals, then you can look into that journals the about your narrow domain. Okay, then you will get some papers. Uh, For example, my area was closely aligned with AI, and I was interested in AI as well as networking. So I looked for application of AI in the networking field within computer science. So started searching keywords, networks with AI in the area of network, then application of AI in network, then relationship between AI and the network. Different keywords I used in all these databases, and I got some papers. So once I got these papers, I started reading all these papers, and I made a quick analysis of all the summaries of these papers and made a strong problem statement, and then I started working on my project. And once I have completed the implementation part, I started writing the paper. Okay. And in every research paper, you can see that the first thing after title. So the title we already discussed. The title should be a catching title, and it should uh, catch the reader's attention. Like it should generate a curiosity in the reader, that what is included in this paper or what is the result of this paper. They should become curious while seeing your title. So title should be curious. Then this is the template. This is the standard template which is IEEE is following. So they have included the author details after the title itself. So the first step is title, and the second one is author details. So while looking into the paper, you can see that the very first topic, first paragraph after the title and author is abstract. So your abstract should be a concise summary of the research paper, and it should always contains only 150 to 250 words, and it should not be longer than that or shorter than that. Minimum, it should contain a 150 to 250 words, and it should highlight the main objectives, methods, result, and conclusion of your work, and it should serve as a quick overview for readers to decide if the paper is relevant to their interest. If someone else is reading your paper, they should get a quick overview to decide whether this paper is relevant to their interest. So, in effect, the abstract should contain the purpose of the paper, a brief description about the content of the paper. Okay, summarize the research focus and the key findings, and it should also question. It should also serve as the answer for the questions of other researchers, like what was done, why this research was done, how this research was done, what was found, and what does this mean. These are the answers for these questions should be uh, described in the abstract portion. And after abstract, you can see a small portion known as keywords. So keywords are the terms or phrases that represent the core ideas of the paper. Okay, this helps in indexing and allow other researchers to find the paper easily during researches. We have already mentioned that I have already mentioned I searched using different keywords, AI and network, relationship between AI and network. So once you are using such keywords for searching in the various databases or even in Google itself, the research papers aligning to that research area is fetched and found based on these keywords itself. Okay, and your research paper also will be grouped in certain journal databases based on the keywords you are providing. So, properly use the keywords that represent the core ideas of the paper. Then only it allow other researchers to find your paper during researches. So, the usage of keyword is only to increase the discoverability of the paper. So, don't use too much keywords. Usually, 4 to 6 terms that reflect the main topic is only needed. Okay, that is abstract and keyword. And the next main content of the paper is introduction. So introduction, we already mentioned what is introduction. So introduction provides the background and context for the study, and it explains why the research is important, what are the outlines and objectives of the research. And it engages the A reader introduces the research question and sets up the rationale for the study. And the introduction should only contain a background information, then what is the research problem, then what are the objectives and scope of the study, and briefly mention the methodology and expected outcomes of our research. Try to try to frame a smaller introduction, not too much large or not too much smaller. Maintain a consistent contents for introduction. It should only contain background information related to your research area, then the research problem you are working upon, or the gap in knowledge, and the objectives of your study, the scope of your study, and briefly mention the methodology and what outcome you are expecting from this particular research. You can include in the introduction portion. Okay. So here I also uh, did an introduction which is only a two-column format, around 250 words only. 250 to 350 words only I have used. And in this last section, I also included the scope of the paper. Like section 2 is the literature review. Section 3 deals with the work methodology in the paper. Section 4 is the result and analysis. Already I mentioned in the introduction itself. The general logical flow of the paper I have included here. Okay. And this paper actually I presented in a conference at IIT Kharagpur in 2020, and this conference team, they included the paper in IEEE Explore. Okay. Now the next portion is the literature review. So I have included the summary of the top 10 papers only in the literature review. So for the formation of problem statement, I have referred more than 100 papers, but I only included a summary of first most relevant 10 papers in my paper. So it's up to your choice. You can include any number of summaries in your paper, but don't make it too large. Include the most relevant or most include the papers which are providing most support for your research, that only needed. Or even include, instead of writing this as paragraph, you can include a simple table covering all the literatures with the methodologies used, advantages and disadvantages of each method and all. You can present it in your own convenience. Anyway, literature review is a fundamental uh, section in every research paper. You can do it in your own convenience, either in a tabular format, or you can use this paragraph format and include only the most relevant papers, summaries of most relevant papers, and always try to rewrite the summary in your own words. Don't copy any paragraphs directly from that literatures. So it will lead to plagiarism. Once you have read the paper, generate a summary of your own, and that summary must be included in this literature. And in this, you can see that in one, this means citing the first paper, and this first paper details I have included at the end of the paper in under reference section. Okay, you can see here, first paper. This is the first paper, and I have included the author name, paper title, then where it is published, published year, and all details associated with that paper is included in the reference section. And I have included the name of the first author and the reference number here. So this is very compulsory that you are citing the reference number as well as the author name and other details in your paper. Okay. And in this paragraph, I only have a brief summary of what techniques they are using, what is the input of the method, and what is the output they are giving, and what is the performance of that particular method. Okay, this only I have included, and the same format I have used for this 10. And after writing the summary of these 10 papers, I have written a single paragraph about this summary of this 10 summary of all the literatures I have covered. So what are the inferences I have got from this literature survey? I have framed a single paragraph. And actually this paragraph is the base for your research, or this is the problem statement for your research. That is, you have find the weakness and strength of every literatures you have referred, and from that you have identified the weakness of all the existing methods, and which on that weakness you are going to work upon, and that weakness you are going to address in your research. So for that purpose, I have included the instance of the literature survey here. Okay. So the literature review discusses the existing research related to the topic. It identifies any gaps, supports the need for the current study, and provides a foundation. So the content of the literature survey should be the summary of the key studies and their findings, critique of the previous research, and identification of gaps or any unresolved issues exist in the existing systems. Okay. And the next step is the proposed system. So in the proposed system, I have included the algorithms I am using, and this is a block diagram I have drawn, and never copy any block diagrams or algorithms as such from any of the internet sources or any of the other journals. Okay, if you want to include any architecture diagrams or include any block diagrams, draw it your own. Don't copy and paste from any other journals. Draw it your own. And if this algorithm, actually this is an algorithm designed by me itself, so that only I included this algorithm. If you are using any of the existing methodologies, don't try to copy and paste here, and it will lead to plagiarism. So I have written the methodology in a well detailed manner. Methodology can also be given heading as proposed system, that what you are proposing, proposed methodology, proposed system, or simply methodology. And under that you can give a detailed overview of what you are going to do with your research. Every single step in your research can be written detailed. You can use diagrams, flowcharts, everything in this. So in this, I have developed a new algorithm, self-adaptive energy efficient bat algorithm. So I have attached a detailed overview of the algorithm. All the equations I have mentioned here. This is also a diagram which is generated by me itself, not copied from any source. So if you are including any diagrams, please ensure that the diagram is generated by you itself. And also do not use any of the AI generated diagram. Most of the journals and conferences, etc., have now AI plagiarism detector also. Okay. So once you have written the methodology part, the next part is evaluation or result. So this can be result and discussion, result, or simply result. Okay, and this section represents the finding of the study, which can be represented using tables, graph, or any chart. So for clarity purpose, you can use any of the methods. You can use table, graph, charts, etc. Anything you can use. And the purpose is you have to communicate what was discovered using the research. And while writing the result section, you have to ensure that whatever result you have obtained from your research, you must include it in the result portion. Whether it is positive result or whether it is negative result, include all the result you have obtained from your research. Then only you can improve the research in your future work, or even the fellow colleague researchers who can also continue your work. Okay, if you are facing any negative result, then don't try to hide it from the research community. You can include the negatives of your research as well in the result section. Okay. So evaluation result, I have also used some tables as well as graphs, and these all graphs were generated from the software development environment itself. This I have done using Visual Studio, a computer software, and from that only I have generated all these graphs. And these graphs are statistical analysis tools for the work. So once the result part is over, the last section is conclusion. So the conclusion part summarizes the key findings and their significance, and it reiterates the main contributions of the study, and it also provides a closure and reinforce the importance of the research once again. So only the content required for conclusion part is what is the restatement. It is actually a restatement of what are the objectives of your research and what are the result you have obtained, and any recommendations, any final thoughts, anything you can include in conclusion. And this should also be similar to that abstract section. Minimize the content, only necessary details to be showcased. Okay. And the last one is acknowledgement, appendix, etc. So in the acknowledgement portion, you can, I have included the acknowledgement portion. So in the acknowledgement, I have acknowledged our principal, then my HOD, then my project guide, and my colleagues, everything I have acknowledged. So in the acknowledgement portion, you can mention those who contributed to your work, but not the authors. Here you can see that actually my guide for the postgraduate research was Professor Minu Lalita Madhav, but I haven't mentioned her name in the acknowledgement section because she is also a author for the paper. So in the acknowledgement section, please ensure that you haven't mentioned the author's name here. So in any person except the authors who have contributed or supported for your work, you can include in this acknowledgement section. If any of the persons are included in the author section, never mention here. Okay. And if you have received funding from any of the government sources or any private agencies or even from your institution, you can also add acknowledgement for the funding in this acknowledgement section itself. Okay. And the last section is the reference. Okay. And this reference list actually it provides detailed information on the sources cited in the paper. And here we are acknowledging the work of other researchers which we have used in our research. And this also enables readers to locate the original sources. If I want this particular paper, I can simply copy this and search in Google for use finding this research for. So for that purpose only we are including reference. First one for citation and second one for enabling other researchers to find this paper. Okay. So, and in addition to this, if we are using any other supplementary materials, if we want to include any raw data or any detailed calculation, we can add another session known as appendix as well. Okay. And some templates, there are also another column known as author profile or bibliography. Here in this conference, it was not mentioned, so that only I haven't included. So if in certain some templates, they are allowing bibliography, you can include the profiles of the authors as well with the photographs. Okay, this is the typical structure of any research paper, and this the contents only will change according to your research area. This is the general format of any research paper. Okay. So that's all about the research paper writing. If you have any queries, you can speak now or you can use the chat box. I think there is a issue with my speaker. So if you have any questions, please post it in the chat box. It will be easy for me. So if you want the link of the paper, I will give you here. Link of my paper. There are some. So are you aware of a tool called Mentally? There is a tool known as Mentally. Anybody have experience using Mentally software? So here in my literature, in my paper, I have shown you a section called literature review. So in this, I have done what I have done is I have copy and pasted all the references here. And from here only I have copied this one and this first author to here. Okay. So this is actually a complicated task. If in this paper I have included only 10 papers and so that it was easy for me. So if you have to include a 10, 25, 50 number of literature review summaries in the literature review section, it will be difficult for you to write the literature review. In such cases, you can use the help of some softwares. There is a software called Mendeley, and this Mendeley can be used for managing these literature review citations and all. And you can easily draft the research paper using the Mendeley software. So try using Mendeley software for research paper writing, and also almost all the journals. Conferences have their own latex templates also available. So if you have familiar working with the latex, it will be easy for you to format the papers. Okay. I got a question, ma'am. Can you suggest the latest topic, ma'am? Which area you are from? What is your background? So MBA. So actually, ma'am, I am from a computer science background, and my research area is closely aligned with computer science backgrounds only. So I am not able to suggest a latest topic for you. But I think as AI, the latest technologies of computer science is AI, machine learning, and etc. So you can in okay, okay, thank you. Oh, NLP topic. Yeah, you can work upon LLM, large language models. That is the most latest research area in NLP. LLM, large language models. You can work upon on LLM. For Mendeley software demo, I have posted the link for Mendeley here. You can download Mendeley from the site, or you can use the website. There is a provision for free account as well. So Mendeley is paid after using a certain limit. So you can also create a free account in Mendeley. So you can download Mendeley from the site I have shared here. Okay. Mendeley also support web-based UI also. You can work without downloading. Yeah, sure. I will give you my mail ID. You need that journal finder link also. I will post. I have included a screenshot like Springer Journal Finder. I will share the link of that Journal Finder itself. For people from science background, you can use this journal suggester. Okay. Yeah, I have put this link for journal suggester. Similarly, you can also use Elsevier. You can find journals from Elsevier Journal Finder. If you want link, I will post here. Elsevier Journal Finder, I will post here. Receiver journal finder also I have posted link here. You can look for journals here. And one of the main issues we are facing is this most of the journals or most of the conference websites, etc., are only providing literature review, literature downloads on paid base. So we will be facing issues when we are searching for literature survey. Not we cannot download all the papers. So you can use a crack website for downloading the papers free of cost. You can download all the paid journals and paid papers from this site. This SkyHub. I will also post the link of SkyHub also here. From this site, simply which paper you need, go to the original website, copy the DOI number of that particular paper, then paste it in this site. You can download any papers. Around all the papers published by 2023 until 2023, I think are available in this particular website. Okay. Start the site. SkyHub. Name of the site is SkyHub, and sometimes the site will not be available. So just change the last two letters, skyhub.cc. Any of the site will be available. Okay. Sometimes this won't work. So just change the last two letters, skyhub.cc you can use. Okay. You can download almost all papers by using their DOI number. Any other queries?
And participants, if you have no doubt, shall we wind up the session now?
Ma'am, there is one request. Is it possible for you to just demonstrate how to give the citations? One demo.
You are looking for demo through that Mendeley software.
No, no. Actually, I just want to understand exactly when we are giving the this particular citation. So exactly how to do that. Fine.
Oh, okay, okay.
So with Mandley, even though if you are doing that demonstration, still it is fine, not an issue. Wanted to understand exactly how we
You
can.
need to know what is citation and yeah, in which circumstances you want to do citation. That
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. Actually, we are using different references, but
oh,
exactly how to cite them. So there are different ways of citation. Am I right?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but when we are giving that citations like numbers and all, so exactly how to do that is the
Okay,
concern
okay.
for me.
So citation is actually when you are using someone else's work into our work, we have the that manners to uh, refer that we are using someone else's content. Okay, that is simply citation. Okay, and so how to use citation in our paper? That is a big question. Okay, for everybody's information, I will be briefing about what is citation and what are the types of citation. Okay, citation is a reference.
Ma'am,
Actually, it
please
is a
will you
reference.
show using Mendeley?
Ma'am, actually, Mendeley is not available in this system, in this Mind system. If you don't mind, I will share a screen recorded video to the Pencilbitz team by tonight. They will be sharing in your group. I will share a recorded video.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
I will explain what is this citation. So citation is actually, it is a reference if you are using someone else's work, whether it is a book, article, website, or any other resource. If you are using someone else's work in your work, then it is a reference to that particular work. So it is simply giving credit to the original authors. So allow others to locate the sources and help you avoiding plagiarism. Because you are using someone else's work or you are using someone else's content, it is some kind of plagiarism. So in order to avoid plagiarism, you should quote that particular reference in the form of a citation in your work. So different type of citations. How to do citations means you have to identify the source, like who is the author of the paper, which is the title of the work, where it is published, which is the publication date, and if DOA is available, DOA can also be included in the citation. And coming to the citation style, there are different formats for citations actually. APA format, MLA format, Chicago, IEEE. So in my research paper, I have followed the APA format, which is IEEE is also supporting the APA format. You can see that this is the APA format. In this, first one is the author details, then the research article details like title, then where it is published, then which is the publication year, and here DOA is not available. Instead, the page numbers and all are available. Okay, this is the APA format for IEEE. So you have to choose the reference style according to the journal you are going to publish. Okay, some journals follow the APA format, some journals follow the MLA format. Whichever is followed by the journal, you should choose that particular citation style. Then this is come in the reference section. So whenever you are using the content or any idea or any equation, any diagram or any keywords which is particularly mentioned in that someone else's work, use the in-text citation. You can just use the number you have mentioned here. That is the first paper, then this is the second paper. This serial number is the reference number, and in this, wherever you are using the ideas or any content which is mentioned in this article, while you are referring to that content, you may include this square bracket. Within that, you have to use the serial number you are using here. Okay. That is the indexed citation. Then this common styles I have mentioned: APA, MLA, Chicago, IEEE, etc. APA means American Psychological Association, and MLA means Modern Language Association. So for all the projects actually related to technology, social sciences, humanities, etc., they are somewhere they are using APA and MLA as well. And for IEEE, they are commonly standard for engineering and technical field only. And for history and all, Chicago APA citation style is used. Okay. Then other than Mendeley, there are also some other citation tools also. BibMe, citation machine, and also. And if there is also another thing. If you are simply downloading a paper from any of the journal, how to generate this citation? There is also easy ways for generating this particular format. No need to worry typing all these content by your own or under reference section. You can simply upload that paper to the tools available. Then they will give the reference format to you. You
Ma'am,
can
you
use
have
it.
shown this references and the number has been given two times, like one, then again one.
And this is actually a paper I have. This is not the exact paper in the IEEE Explore website. This is a PDF that was available in my laptop. There are some formatting issues in this paper, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So this is not correct, right?
Uh,
So, but the number one which has been shown, how they have referred it, might be they have referred it somewhere in the paper just to
Somewhere
show
there,
the citation.
I will
Please
show. I
show
will
that.
show. I will
Yeah.
show, ma'am. In this literature survey, I have used this one. Okay, and 1 to 10 I have used, and in between some equations and all I have referred from some other paper. I have cited all those things somewhere else in the paper also. Okay, here also 11 I have mentioned. because I have compared my method accuracy precision values with the method used in 11. So I have referred 11 here. Okay. And ma'am,
Yes, it's clear.
are you all familiar with the tool known as Quillbot? So while writing research paper for paraphrasing and all, you can use this Quillbot tool.
Which one?
Quillbot, I have pasted in the chat box. Please look into the chat box. Quillbot is a tool. Here you can check for plagiarism. You can rephrase your sentences, grammar check all. You can do freely using Quillbot. Plagiarism checker, but limited. And in this plug, I will show you. I will share my screen. Okay, this is Quillbot. So in this Quillbot, you have a option called citation generator. Okay. So in this citation generator, you can either paste the title, URL, DOI, anything available with you to cite the content. So simply I am pasting my paper title itself. This is my title. Just simply copy the title, paste it here. Okay. So the articles which are relevant to the title are available here. So this is my paper. So simply I selected the paper. This is the reference. Okay. So rather than typing references manually, you can use these type of tools. Just copy from here and paste it in your paper. This tool is known as citation generator. Okay. Almost all papers can be cited through this type of websites, but still there are some papers which cannot be cited. So in that cases, you can manually cite. Once you know the template of this particular, once you know the format of this citation, you can simply do it. But for larger number of papers, you can use these tools as well as. So here there are so many tools. Paraphraser means if you are copying and pasting a paragraph here, they will rephrase it. And grammar checker. Then I think you are all familiar with the chat GPT and all. So you know that if we are giving a simply a title and asking chat GPT to generate a literature survey, it will generate a literature survey for you. So you can simply copy and paste it into your research paper. But nowadays there are AI plagiarism checker also. So if you have used any kind of AI generated text in your research paper, you can check for the AI plagiarism here. Summarizer, translator,
How
many
safe it is to use this plagiarism on these websites?
example, I will copy some content from here. From my paper, I am pasting a paragraph here. Okay. Plagiarism check. So I have used this so many times, so they are asking for upgrading. So no issues when you are using for first time. You will get a window like this, and in this window there will be a space like
It
this.
is the open access, ma'am. How safe it is?
It's free of course, but it has a limit, ma'am. Once
Will you
you
please
have
come
crossed,
again?
once you have crossed the limit, you cannot use it free.
No, that is fine. I'm asking how safe it is because these websites can even get our.
Ma'am, Quillbot is a reliable site.
Okay,
Almost all the potential researchers are using Quillbot now.
okay.
So there will be this kind of a window. You can just simply paste your content and check for
Yeah.
plagiarism here. Okay. And regarding mentally, I will be sending a video to the team. They will share it to you how to use this mentally.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other queries? So thank you for hearing me patiently for the last 1.5 hours. And thank you all the participants for actively engaging in the QA session. And wish you all the success for your research.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank you for making this more informative. And I would like to thank all the participants.
Thank you.
And feedback link is given in the chat box. All the participants are asked to fill the feedback. Thank you.
Ma'am, there is a request. Will you please send yesterday's feedback link? I missed it actually. Is it possible?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much.